Many of us file our taxes every year with the hope that we'll get a big refund, but some taxpayers are surprised to learn that they actually owe Uncle Sam some money. Not the news that any of us wants to hear, but there are also other tax surprises that can catch retirees off guard. And joining us today to talk about this is Gary Mattson and Laurel Stewart, the father-daughter team from Mattson Financial Services, the sponsor of this segment. They're a financial firm that's been helping people retire successfully here in West Michigan for decades. And so what would you say tends to surprise people the most about the taxes that they have to pay in retirement?
Oh boy, this is going to be kind of fun.
Right? There's a lot of categories.
Yeah, there's just so many layers of tax that people don't realize. You know, tax on Social Security. At certain levels, your Medicare coverage that you have is taxed. The money that's coming out of your retirement accounts is taxed. The money that you've deferred and put away in something and you take it out, now it's taxed. So there's so many layers of the onion of taxes that it can be mind-boggling, very truly. And we find that's where people really make a lot of mistakes because they hear something or hear a piece of it and think that that's what they should do, but it's really bad for their plan when it comes to taxes.
Sure. Is there anything that we can do to reduce the tax bill?
So there's some careful planning that can be done depending on, what's going on in your world, paying the taxes now and then it's never taxed again, or is it better to pay the taxes later as they go? One thing that we really keep an eye on is kind of that middle class millionaire. So we've got a lot of local people working for really great industries here in which they've stocked money away into a 401k and all of it's there. So that's all pre-tax money. Let's say they have $1 million in their 401k. Now they start taking money from it, now they're paying taxes on it. And so we just need to look at, is there a different area or another bucket? We talk about these different buckets of your classifications of money to maybe get some Roth funds in there, non-qualified funds, so they have more than just the IRA or 401k bucket.
Yeah.
And then you have those lucky individuals that are able to retire before age 65, and they're looking at it saying, okay, well, if I want to go at 55, I don't want to pay that penalty for going for early withdrawals on my retirement. And there's ways actually that you don't have those penalty or withdrawal penalties. So doing it the right way is very important to understand that, and having that availability to get to your retirement dollars, even if you haven't reached the goal that quote the government thinks you ought to be at.
Sure. Is there ever that scenario where too much money has been saved up? And
I hate that when that
starts to work
happens, right?
against you?
Yeah, and it actually can be that way when you think about it from the standpoint that if your dollars are being grown or they're doing very well for you and you haven't planned well for that, that's throwing you into tax departments or steps, if you would, that you didn't plan for. So in other words, what I'm saying is that the government's going to say, okay, here you've earned money in your interest account and now you're not using those dollars, but we're still going to tax you on that. So in essence, the IRS is saying, we're going to take the first bite of the apple before you even need or use it. That's not a good scenario to be in.
Sure.
So if you have, let's say, $500,000, and you can save 2% in taxes, that's an extra $10,000 a year. I know you just went recently on a trip, and we go on trips. $10,000, that's a lot of great trip right there, or things you want to do with family. And that comes up every single year. So that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime.
Yeah, an unpleasant surprise we don't want to get. But are there other things that sometimes catch people off guard too?
When it comes to taxes, I would say that when it comes to the Roth piece is putting money away that you can actually contribute to your Roth IRA or things like that, as long as you have earned income. And people think, oh, I retired, I can't do anything with a Roth IRA anymore. And we say, well, there is still the option that you can convert. So you can convert from IRA to Roth IRA. You have to pay the taxes on it. We don't get away from that. But at least that's tax-free moving forward. So that's one piece that some people don't realize is a tool out there or strategy out there for them, if it makes sense.
And there's some people who have done very well and put money into a Roth 401k. And when they get to a requirement distribution age, that's 72, they don't realize that they have to take money out of that. They said, no, it's a Roth. No, if it's a Roth 401k, you have required minimum distributions on that. And if you didn't take it, that could cost you also. So again, little things along the way that have set up properly, you don't have to deal with.
So lots of different types of retirement income that can be taxed. And a lot of times people aren't aware of it when they come down and sit with you.
Yeah, in fact, we had clients that are actually accountants themselves, husband and wife. And they became client of ours, and after a few years, we get this email, and he says, I can't believe how much income we're having. We didn't project that high, and how little we're paying in taxes. And once we showed him the different avenues, that every year he comes back with a spreadsheet saying, okay, this is the taxes, I got it right this time, right? Here's what we're doing. And again, once you're plugged into it and you understand it, knowledge is the power that keeps you free.
Yeah, there's a lot of different rules to remember. We're starting to see too, and this can really take people by surprise. But I think if you take that journey with people who are kind of navigating the waters as you are and your team, and taking the different changes in taxes that seem to come around every year, the changes in the market, it helps make that that journey a little bit smoother.
And that's what we try to create is, we're focused on helping those who are retiring or already retired because there's so much careful planning that has to go into it. I mean, just all this tax, verbiage that we're talking about right now. And so we look to, do they have a CPA or a tax professional? If they don't, we might loop one in, that's one of our preferred providers, and make sure we're having those conversations and bringing it to the client's attention, because there's so much planning that should be done that if you still have a great plan, you've got a lot of growth, but you don't have the tax as a part of it, you could really be missing out on that.
Yeah. Like Laurel said, we've had people have great CPAs or partnerships with us, and we talked about the client, like in 2020, we had this massive downturn in the market. Well, we actually encourage clients to sell off their non-qualified accounts and take tax losses. And people are like, well, gee, I like that investment. It's going to come back. Yes, but let's take the tax loss now, save it up for something we want to use in the future. And we checked there with their CPA, verified it with the client also. Yes, so we sold the portfolio at a loss. You're thinking, well, gee, that's really bad. Well, we know this is a temporal thing. Now when the market comes back, we have no gains, don't have to pay taxes on all that money in the future. There's some tax savings there.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Tax harvesting.
We like that,
yes.
Especially during tax season to think about that. And so you have a great offer for viewers. Can you explain what it is?
For the first 5 callers, if you save $250,000 or more for retirement, you can give us a call. We'll find a time to have you sit down with one of our advisors, complimentary, start going over what does your retirement picture look like so we can then put this retirement roadmap together.
Sounds good. So for you at home, take advantage of that special offer from Mattson Financial. If you're retiring or getting ready to retire, Gary, Laurel, and the rest of the team will sit down with you personally to customize a retirement plan just for you. This is a comprehensive plan that includes a look at your taxes, your investments, and your income sources, and so much more to help you get to and through that retirement that you deserve. Call now, 616-514-3831. That's 616-514-3831. Thank you so much, Gary, Laurel, for stopping in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this segment is sponsored by Mattson Financial Services. We'll be right back with more 8 West.